Active day in the NFL, trades all over the place with teams competing with the Texans, and then the Texans make a trade of their own. Seems like a small one. Is it a little bit bigger than we thought? Let's go inside the locker room on a Tuesday.
Yes, let's get it. Hey, locker room. Yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk. Yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize every angle's what we really do. We the source, we the pulse of the city too. Landlocked, got the game in the headlock. Localize every time, can't stop, won't stop. Yeah, we top two and we not too. Plugged in daily digital on YouTube. We got taste for days, opinions to give, we got takeaways.
What a wild day. This video brought to you by BetUS. Texans currently a 3-point favorite over the Green Bay Packers. You can get in the action at BetUS. Use promo code YouTube150, 150% back on your deposit up to $2,000 for YouTube 150. I'll be honest, I don't have a feel for where to go in this game. And I think when we go to practice tomorrow, and I say we because I always take you on the journey with me to practice, we're gonna get the injury report. Spoiler alert: Laramie Tunsil probably not gonna practice, and we're not gonna see a lot. And then Thursday it'll kind of be telling. But right now, if you told me take the 3 points with the Texans, I don't know what the hell I would do. Last week we made one bet, we all cashed in on it. It was the prop bet in the Texas game. I might be leaning that way. I don't feel confident that the Texans are going to win this game. And I don't look at that as like an indictment on them. I just think it's a very shorthanded situation, and Green Bay is a good team and they're going to be at home. We'll see as the week does go on. It is the locker room, number one source for Texans digital content. I am Landry Locker. Let's jump right into these trades. We'll get into the other trades made, but the Texans made a trade of their own, and they traded Cam Akers to the Vikings. The Texans have traded Cam Akers to the Minnesota Vikings, and it's been kind of a back and forth thing. It's been kind of one of those, well, you know, Cam Akers is the number 2. Dameon Pierce is the number 2. They should give Cam Akers the rock a little bit more. But now Cam Akers isn't here, and Dameon Pierce is clearly RB2. I don't know how that's supposed to make me feel. I don't know. Do you feel any better about the run game? I like Dameon Pierce. I enjoy hearing Dameon Pierce talk. I think Dameon Pierce is a funny dude. I think Dameon Pierce is a guy that's easy to root for. Do I feel like if Joe Mixon misses a game and Dameon Pierce is in charge of running the rock between the tackles, that the Texans are going to have a good run game? No. Probably don't feel the same way about that with Cam Akers either, but I liked having both. And you look at this trade, you essentially swapped 6th and 7th round picks. There's a conditional 7th, and you get back a 6th. I don't know what the conditions are, but it doesn't make a lot of sense to me unless maybe they're looking at bringing in another running back, which I would not be opposed to. I think they should try that. I don't think there's any reason to believe either one of these guys are going to provide a quality run game without Joe Mixon. So maybe that's the direction they're heading. Maybe there'll be like another running back move. But in this instance, especially with Dameon Pierce and his inability to stay on the field this year, trading Cam Akers just doesn't make a lot of sense to me, especially for what you traded him for. I don't get it. And you give him to the best team in the league that beat the crap out of you. Maybe that's just where he wanted to be, but I don't get it. Do I think it's the end of the world? No. Do I think Cam Akers did a great job? No. But does this mean like Dare Ogunbawale? We're going to get like another, if Joe Mixon doesn't go, knocking on the wood, we're going to get a Dare Ogunbawale 20-touch game again? There's got to be more to this. There's got to be. And I think there's a lot of opportunity around the league to potentially take advantage of this and add some running backs. They neglected the running back position outside of Joe Mixon. They neglected running back depth. How about that? So there's got to be another thing. I think that RA might be getting ready for Halloween or something. Giovanni Bernard, is he alive still? I'll be honest. Maybe I should pretend that I know like what he's up to right now. What is Giovanni Bernard up to? Maybe you're joking. Yeah, you're being funny, right? Are you serious? He didn't play last year. Yeah, he hadn't been doing anything. And this is where we just start throwing out ghost names. Derek says there's got to be another running back move on the way. I would tend to agree with you, because I'll be honest, this doesn't make sense. And this is kind of reminds me, and we saw this. Was it 2021? Yeah, I think 2021 they had Mark Ingram, and Mark Ingram had like a decent start in the first game, and then in the second game he was and then they traded Mark Ingram to the Saints for nothing. Don't really get it. He was definitely joking. But really who? I don't know. Don't know. But they gave him away for nothing. And that's like sometimes that was a favor. And that this is essentially what you're doing. But why would you do a favor right now? You're a competing football team. You're a contender right now. The Texans are a contender. And running the ball has been a problem when Mixon's out of the lineup. We've seen Mixon play 2 full games. They played 6 games. He's played 2 full games. I don't want to give Mixon the ball 30 times a game for the next 11 games. Maybe when the playoffs come around, if he's able to do that, maybe Dameon Pierce has found his groove. Maybe they're confident in that. But this just doesn't make sense. This is identical to the Mark Ingram. The only difference is we were in football hell in 2021. Mark Ingram, let's send him back home to a team that's better, the Saints. Texans do that with Cam Akers now. Don't get it. Really don't understand it. Doesn't make sense to me at all. Like, did he want to go back to Minnesota? Did he miss Minnesota? I know Mark Ingram missed New Orleans. I didn't blame him. I don't blame you. I wouldn't want to play here either. I wouldn't want to play for David Culley. So you do a favor. You're already looked at. You're frowned upon in the league. You're looked at as a team that does players favors. Cool. This is a place people want to be. I don't get it. And we're talking 2 years, a 6th-round pick. What the hell is a 6th-round pick? They drafted I already forgot the guy's name. Jawar Jordan. They drafted Jawar Jordan in the 6th round. He didn't even make the team. Like 6th-round picks don't even make teams. It just doesn't make sense to me. They talk about how much they like Cam Akers. They talk about how, and this is what's really annoying is they sit there and they tell us, oh, we like Cam Akers. Cam Akers is doing his thing. Oh, did you see that touchdown that Cam Akers had? And then all of a sudden you give him away for a bag of peanuts. I don't get it. Hunter says you're acting like he's Kamara. I'm not acting like he's Kamara. I'm acting like he's a running back who has arguably been your second best running back when your starting running back has only played 2 games and your backup running back was unplayable last year. And the only sniff at quality ball we've gotten from him was 1 50-plus yard run. I think running back depth is important. I don't think they lost Alvin Kamara. I don't even know that he's better than Dameon Pierce at this point. I just think the more the merrier. Because right now, if something happens to Mixon, your running backs are Dameon Pierce, Dare Ogunbawale, J.J. Taylor. No Cam Akers. That's not great. Don't get it at all. Putting this much faith in Cam Akers is wild. There's no faith. There's just no other option. You might have your ears clogged or something like that. There's no faith in him. If you heard me just act like he was good, I don't have anything. I don't have any like strong faith in Cam Akers. It's wild that you can't hear or comprehend. That's what's wild. AA. Appreciate you for coming through though. Yeah, Jawar Jordan's gone. That was the point. He's gone. He was a 6th-round pick. He's gone. That's what they got for Cam Akers. 6th-round pick, and then they send him in a 7th. That's the point. Someone said Mechie in a 6 for Nick Chubb. That's some EA Sports right there. That might be a little bit of that.
High-grade marijuana called Kush on the streets. Did you know what that was?
Now I do.
Me neither.
Ogunbawale is not better between the tackles than Cam Akers. Like Ogunbawale is a more valuable piece. I mean, it's pretty clear. Ogunbawale is very valuable to what they do, and he does everything well. He does all the little things that the coaches like. He's good in protection. He's good at receiving. He can play special teams. He can do a lot of stuff. Between the tackles, he's not better than Cam Akers. Let's not get that twisted. He's a guy that you need, especially on this team. You need a back like that. Like ideally, you have multiple backs that can run the rock, and then a guy that does the other things like Ogunbawale, and then maybe you even have someone else who can do something in like emergency situations. But between the tackles, he's not better than Cam Akers. 2 weeks ago when they decided they were going to run him between the tackles, he had 15 carries for 30 yards. He's never been a guy that does that. In the receiving game, I agree with you. If we were playing schoolyard and you put Ogunbawale and Cam Akers here, I'm taking Ogunbawale first. But as far as running between the tackles, like if you need that, he's not better than him at that. AO's in timeout. You don't follow the team, dude. It's very obvious. British Brooks is out for the season, bro. You're in timeout. Nose in the corner, sir. Think about what you've done. Come back. Maybe don't talk. You're making the chat a little bit goofy. No offense. Or offense. But yeah, British Brooks is out for the season. Knee injury. Cam Akers is not a physical back. I agree. I mean, we are talking about a very thin running back group outside of Mixon. So I agree with you. I don't think he's great. I just thought he was a piece. I mean, I think he has value in emergency situations. And I think I don't know that the jury's completely out that he's 100% not better than Dameon Pierce. So that would be my argument. And Derek says Derek's on fire today. Derek is a diehard because they could trade for Diggs and he's there. But when we start getting in that, like down the depth chart, Derek's all about it. It's diehard. He's at every game. No one's offering a 6 for Ogunbawale. I agree, but on this team, I think his value to this team is higher than it is on any other squad. That's how I look at Dare Ogunbawale. For sure. That's just kind of how I agree. Now we're saying get Riddick. Man, there's a lot of ghosts appearing, and rightfully so. What are we, 16 days away from the Jets game, Halloween? Trying to get a lot of ghosts, for sure. I just think there's got to be another running back coming in. That's me. And I admittedly, and I'm not saying it's the best thing, oh God, Rex Burkhead spotted in Houston. I admittedly am obsessed with running back depth. And I don't think the Texans have really addressed it. So there's that. The Texans get in the mix. They trade Cam Akers. Not great, but not irrelevant when it comes to this team and the state of the running back position. I thought it was a little bit interesting, depending on what happens next. But we do got to keep an eye on what's going on there. Singletary coming back would be perfect. That my dream scenario was bringing in, at the time it was Saquon Barkley, and bringing Singletary back as the backup. Maybe the Giants get out of it and you bring Singletary in. He's your complimentary back. You're in good shape then. That's a guy who can give you he can do a good job spelling mix. And that was originally what Singletary was brought to do last year. Remember, Dameon Pierce was coming off that he would have rushed for 1,000-yard season, and they brought in Singletary. Singletary earned a new contract. Maybe there's something there. Maybe the Texans, he's hurt though right now. I will say that Singletary is hurt. I don't think it's serious. Maybe the way Akers wants to go back to Minnesota, maybe Singletary wants to come here and get the hell out of New York. Who knows? Yeah. Did we forget how solid, how dominant? You thought Pierce was dominant last year or 2 years ago? I think you're handing out dominance. I know it's Halloween. You're handing out dominance like Snickers bars on Halloween. The dominant phrase. You thought Pierce was dominant? 2 years ago? I mean, I was there. I know you were watching every snap too, I'm sure. You think he was dominant? He averaged 4.3 yards per carry. That's good. Wasn't the best O-line. He had 4 touchdowns. 939 yards in 13 games. Dominant? It's a lot. And what happened last year? He was unplayable. Ain't about that life with Singletary. I can understand that. Look, I'm just trying to make sense of it. Trying to make Mixon over Barkley. I mean, it's hard to argue that with the way that he's looked. I said it today. We were having the debate on SNL. If y'all want to go back and listen to it, you can. And by debate, Cody was agreeing with me. I think that Joe Mixon is the second most important player on this team. And in his 2 full games versus Nico's 4 full games, and you can go 4.5 because he did have the long touchdown. He's been just as dominant. Nico's leading the league in receiving yards, but he's been just as dominant. So yeah, I can't disagree with anything you say about Mixon. It might have been a backup plan, but it was a hell of a move. But yeah, I can't disagree with that at all. No doubt. I don't want to ask Mixon to carry the rock 25, 30 times, but we'll get more into that tomorrow. Other small move for the Texans before we get into the big ass moves of the day. And be sure to subscribe, right along, participate in the chat. Supers go to the front. Watch and listen to SNL with myself and Cody Stutes every morning. Other small news: Kurt Hinish has been activated. So we're probably going to get the debut of Hinish. I don't know how he fits into this D-line. That'll be interesting to see. I really don't know how Danico Autry fits into this D-line. That'll be interesting to see as well. We know that Mario Edwards is not going to play for the next 4 games. So we'll see how that whole thing goes. But Kurt Hinish active. I don't know what he looks like. I've kind of liked the performances of, although they've been limited. I've liked what I've seen from Khalil Davis and all these other guys. So we'll see how this goes. But Kurt Hinish, come on down. You're the next contestant on D'Amico's D-line. So we had a couple of big moves today in the NFL when it came to receivers. Devontae Adams traded to the Jets, and Amari Cooper traded to the Bills. And these are really easy moves to localize. Should we start with Adams or should we start with Amari Cooper? Which one do we want to start with? Do we want to start with the one that you're going to see in 3 weeks? Or do you want to talk about the one we saw twice last year and we avoided on the Buffalo Bills a couple of weeks ago? Which move do we want to talk about? Which one do we want to localize? Because that's what we do in this mug. Localize. From the Texans POV. Do we want to start with Adams or do we want to start with Amari? All right, let's start with Coop. I think this was a good move by Buffalo. I think this was a really good move by Buffalo. Now, it kind of shows that the divorce with Stephon Diggs needed to happen because they essentially traded for a veteran receiver after at least trying to function as if they didn't need a veteran proven receiver. And Stephon Diggs has been a better player than Amari Cooper in the last few years. But they essentially admitted, like, all of that talk about, well, the offense and nobody cares about their targets and all this type of stuff. Hogwash, because they traded for Amari Cooper. I think it was a really good move. I think Buffalo is going to be a factor for against the Texans down the stretch. So I think it was a really, really good move by the Buffalo Bills. I thought it was very necessary for them to make the move, the Bills. The other thing about this with the Jets, the other move that was made with the Jets trading for Devontae Adams. I look at this this way when it comes to the Jets. I think that when it comes to the Jets, I look at the Jets as a person who goes into a Las Vegas casino and they have, let's just make this relatable, $1,000 or $500 bankroll, whatever. But they're going to Vegas and they have a certain amount of chips going into the casino. And immediately, as soon as they walk in the casino, their boy gasses them up and they decide that they're going to play some roulette and they end up losing $500. So they lose $500 immediately at the casino, right off the top. Boom, bye-bye, $500 gone. They get the Jets took their $500 in chips and they threw it in the middle of that craps table. That's basically what the Jets are doing. It's not a complete lost cause, but they have limited chips to work with. Let's just be serious. Like the Jets ceiling is limited. Even if things go perfect with Devontae Adams, they're not an elite threat to making a playoff run. They're not that. That's not what they are. They've sold their soul to Aaron Rodgers. They've already lost half their chips, and now all their chips are on the table. Here's the other thing about it. Here's the other thing about it that is the damn shame when it comes to the Jets, or it's good for the Texans. They are going to be a dog-butted situation in a year or two. Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams are not going to be making magic past this year. They might not even make it this year. But they have sacrificed their entire future. They're going to have to bring in a new coach. They're going to have to start paying some of the young talent. They are a non-factor when it comes to chess. And they're a nuisance right now when it comes to checkers. I don't know if the Texans are a legitimate 100% contender. I don't know if they end up ending their drought and getting to the AFC Championship. I don't know. But I know the Jets aren't either. The Jets are just they're a nuisance. The Texans are going to have a tough time going and beating the Jets, especially if they don't have Lassiter and they're having to roll with Ross as their second corner on a short week in New York. Because Aaron Rodgers, say what you want about him, he's going to pick on him, whether he's guarding Garrett Wilson or he has to line up against Devontae Adams. Ross is whoever is playing opposite Stingley. Hell, he would even try it on Lassiter. They're going to be a problem. But if you told me that these teams are going to play again in February and it's going to be a normal week, it's going to be normal rest, it's most likely going to be here in Houston, I would not really fear the Jets that much. I think the Jets have a chance to maybe back into the playoffs. I also think they have a chance to completely fall on their face. Now, their schedule is absolute ass for the remainder of the season. So we'll see what happens with the Jets. It's really going to be interesting this week because they got a really good Steelers team that they're expected to lose to. I think if you're a Texans fan, you just want to get rid of the Jets. Just get them out of the way. Get them out of the way. So you're probably pulling for the Steelers this weekend when they take on the Jets. The Bills, they're going to be there. And Amari Cooper's an upgrade over what they got. They're going to be a factor. That's probably not a team that you want to play in the playoffs. They're banged up right now, especially if they get more healthy. So I would say that the Amari Cooper move is a lot more impactful for the league. I think it's a lot more of a threat to the Texans. The Jets, they got $500 on the table. That's it. They also cleared out their whole bank account for the Vegas trip. They have no future. They have no savings. What was once a very nice young core, they've completely stripped it, sacrificed it. They're basically going to have to start all over. Bye-bye, Aaron Rodgers, whatever. Maybe they try to get him out there at 41. I don't know, but they've sold their soul there. So that's where we're at with those things. Who's better, D'Angelo Ross or Lonnie Johnson? D'Angelo Ross is better. Lonnie's a safety and a special teams guy. Ross can play corner. I don't know if it's well. I'm actually very, 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 very surprised that they decided to not challenge him the other day. Yeah, the Jets had a bright future for a moment. It's gone. I don't know. I don't know how they got rid of it that quick, but yeah, it's gone. Bye-bye. See ya. But that game in 16 days, I say all that, that's going to be hellacious. That's going to be hell. That is going to be absolute hell for the Texans, especially with the way guys are getting banged up right now. I think the Jets will probably be a 2-point favorite, maybe. Who knows? I mean, we'll see what Devontae and Aaron Rodgers look like. I know they were on the McAfee show together today, but that game, do I look at the Jets as like a huge threat? No. Do I look at them as a complete lost cause? No. But you go to New York on a short week, that sucks. That's probably one of the last places you want to play. One of the last playing surfaces for damn sure. We saw what happened last year when the Texans were depleted, and we're seeing a lot more guys not even practice on Wednesday. So who knows how shorthanded you'll be against the Jets in a couple weeks. We know they won't have Nico Collins. Don't anticipate them having Christian Harris. Who knows how Tunsil's going to hold up. It's going to suck. Now you get the 10 days for Detroit, so who knows what that happens. But if you're able to win 2 out of the next 3 games, then that is as impressive as you could possibly ask for. That's going to be tough. I think the Texans will be underdogs in both road games. I would assume that. Speaking of which, shout out to BetUS. This week, Texas is a 3-point favorite against Georgia. I'll tell you this: I'm kind of leaning towards betting on Georgia, and a lot of you are saying, "What the hell's wrong with you?" I thought you were one of the biggest Texas fans there is. There, that's a fact. I'm just kind of leaning Georgia on this one. I like money too, kind of a win-win situation. But if you want to get in, promo code YouTube 150, 150% back on your deposits. Might also check out those props. There's some props I'm kind of peeping. So if you want to tail me at Landry Locker, Paul's like a mofo, but you know what betting tail means. Let's not be too perverted here. But yeah, last week I told you the betting prop, it hit early in the third quarter. It's the second straight year Texas OU that's happened. There's some betting props I'm peeping. So just follow along. YouTube 150, put $20 in. You're going to get you $50 in your account, and you're going to be able to enjoy the game inside the game. So let's see what goes on there. Yeah, you can hedge, you can tail, do whatever. You can't lose when you bet against your own team, I guess. Yes. I'm convinced Landry always bets against Texas, so we win. No, I have not done that. I don't think I've bet against Texas lately. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. We'll see if I change my mind. Maybe I gas myself up into doing it, but you can join me. Promo code YouTube 150 at BetUS. Check that out. Zach, it's Casario, huh? With the brain. Okay. I like what you did there. He says McNairs need to do something about opposing fans taking our stadium over. That I don't know if that's just a Texans thing. You see that in LA. You see that you even see it in Dallas every once in a while. It happens, I guess. I don't know. I don't know that it's really been like taken over that much. If you're talking about the Bills thing, like what do they say? What do they need to say? Like what would you suggest that McNair does in this situation? Like what should Cal do? By the way, I'm glad Cal and Hannah haven't been talking as much this year. It was getting a little bit watered down and a little bit much. And I think they were kind of setting themselves up to be targets. I've always liked talking to Hannah. I've always liked talking to Cal. But I thought it was getting to be a little bit much. And I'm kind of glad that they've toned that down a little bit and just kind of enjoyed the ride and enjoyed themselves. I think I think that's really, really good leadership and good ownership. The fact that they've kind of backed away from that. That was a little much for sure. But I do like the direction they're going, but I don't know what. Yeah, I love Hannah too. She can't keep receipts though and be tight with Lopez though. Like that, that's the only thing. Like she keeps my receipts and like calls me out for what I say, but then John, like the opportunist that he is like trying to buddy up with him now after the way he treated Bob on the back end. And someone actually sent me the audio. She must have been sleeping on those because those are real receipts. If that would have happened to like my pops, you talk like that, like the way Lopez did, nah, we ain't talking no more. Matter of fact, we might be squaring up next time we see each other. So I love Hannah, but the receipt game doesn't really fly when you're letting opportunists sit there and buddy up to you. I'm sorry, that doesn't fly like that. Like even a little bit. I'm serious. I mean that was some dirty stuff. So yeah, and I know he wants to get the barbecue sauce out there. He's asked y'all to record some demos and stuff like that. But let's be serious. Moving on quickly. I'm late. Did the Texans make a trade? If so, who do we get? They got a 6th-round pick, and they traded Cam Akers. There you go. They traded Cam Akers. I always like when someone comes in, hey, did y'all talk about this, that? Yeah, I did. You can start it back, right? Who did we get? We didn't get a damn thing. That's for sure. But yeah, enough about all that. So tomorrow at practice, we will, myself and Cody Stutz, we'll talk to you before practice at 9:00. We will also try to preview and talk about what we're looking for in practice. Next question, though, as we stop talking about trades, my damn camera is acting up. This is a nice-ass camera, by the way. I think it's just I move around too much. It's that ADD, ADHD, whatever. You move the hand, boom, focus. No, I'm gonna get this straight. I promise. Eventually. But how much of a new look will the Texans have in Green Bay? That's someone said, did we trade for D's?
These nuts?
Did not. Try to get my wife with that the other day. This is when you know that you're a little bit too sophomoric. I was going to the store and she was like, yeah, get some snacks. And I was like, what kind of snacks? We're trying to have like more healthy snacks. She's like, yeah, you can get some fruit, get some nuts. I was like, have you tried those new nuts that were all over the commercial? And she goes, oh, the D's. Can't even pull it off anymore. That's how sophomoric I am. Damn shame, dude. Paul says Hannah still wants you to wear that jersey that you don't like, the home jersey. Yeah, I heard her bring that up. I like Hannah, I really do. That Lopez must have slipped through the cracks or something like that. The way he was talking about Bob back in the day. So someone sent me that audio. I was like, damn, I didn't remember it was like that. Be sure to listen to the Rhino.
You ain't never hate.
Swarm the like button. Swarm the like button. No doubt. Swarm the like button. Please. Very much. Damn, you say that Bobby Slowick reminds you of Bill O'Brien? That's crazy, dude. Come on. That's where we're at. You think Bobby Slowick reminds you of Bill O'Brien? That's harsh. That's very, very harsh. That's very, 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 very harsh. I want a running back. Who would I like the Texans to get? I want a running back. I want running back depth. That's what I want. RB depth. Now, we know the Texans will look different in Green Bay. How different is the question? I don't anticipate Kamari Lassiter playing. He's got the hurt shoulder. So you're going to see D'Angelo Ross and whatever the hell they do at corner. Linebacker is going to be terrifying because Henry To'oTo'o, you can't gut out a concussion. That dumbass Will Smith movie and all that other stuff, the government stuff, You can't gut it out. It's not up to you. So Henry To'oTo'o, he could be on the field. He could not. We don't know. You're already only playing 2 linebackers. Azeez Al-Shire, he's gutted it out the last 2 weeks. You got to give him his props. He's been a big part of win number 4 and win number 5. He's banged up. They sent Neville Hewitt to the podium yesterday. What does that mean? I put a lot of stock in when they let guys talk and when they don't. And I'll just pull back the curtain. When they let Joe Mixon talk on Thursday last week, I knew he was playing. Said it on this channel because hurt guys don't have to talk. Even when Juice Scruggs was banged up, he wasn't really talking. He was on the injury report. Guys that aren't activated don't have to talk. So when Dylan Horton went back to practice, he couldn't talk until he was activated. But when you send someone to the podium, that's on your own accord. They sent Neville Hewitt to the podium on Monday. I anticipate that means we're going to see a lot of Neville Hewitt. Now, how does that make you feel, though? Because there's a lot of times where the backup's going to play and you're a little bit hesitant. See the running back position this year. See the offensive line. Whenever one of the offensive linemen, I like Neville Hewitt, man. I like what Neville Hewitt brings. I think he is, every time he gets a hit on special teams, it seems like it's just one of those that I wonder if the other guy's ribs are broken. I wonder, like, did he just break that mofo's ribs? Every time Neville Hewitt gets a hit. I think he had like over 100 whatever tackles with the Jets a few years ago. He was the guy that Cal McNair called a tackling machine. You remember that? Tackling machine. Neville Hewitt was what Cal McNair said about him. I like the guy. I think he's a good reserve linebacker. Now, is he good as Azeez Al-Shire or Henry To'oTo'o? Probably not. But you're going to have next man up. I'm okay with Neville Hewitt. Now, Hansen, I don't know about Hansen. I like the guy. I think he's a solid player. I love him on special teams. Defense, I anticipated that he was going to play more this year without Christian Harris. Instead, they essentially made Jalen Petrie a third linebacker, and he's been playing that nickel spot, kind of that hybrid linebacker safety spot. I liked as well, Hansen. So I like the reserve linebackers, but I do think you need a couple of those guys. Or at least one of those guys. I would feel better if one of those guys would go, preferably Al-Shire, and that's something you can gut out, a knee injury. We don't know how serious it is. I'll knock on wood. He did come back in the game, but I would anticipate tomorrow when the injury report is out, Laramie Tunsil's not practicing. I could see Al-Shire not practicing. Wednesday is typically the day where guys rest up. It's a big rehab day. But you could see Al-Shire out there, and I think that would be big. I think that there's a really interesting next few weeks in front of us. I'll say 16 days where all these guys that are banged up, I wonder if they're kind of looking at it as, all right, if he guts it out against Green Bay, we damn sure can't play him against the Jets on Thursday. So I just, when they play Green Bay this week, and then the next week, and that's going to be some grass. And then the next week, you got the Colts here. And then that Thursday, you got to go to New York and take on the Jets. I think we're looking at a pretty depleted squad by then. But we'll keep an eye on that. I don't hate the linebacker depth. I just don't feel comfortable when you're only playing 2 linebackers and those are your 2 guys. Gustavo is swarming the super chat. D-line needs to step up and pressure Love all game. D-line's been awesome this year. D-line's been awesome. They've been pressuring. You got to wonder if Will Anderson getting those 3 sacks is going to completely wake up a monster. I think the BetUS sack for Will Anderson, the sack prop is at 1, which I like. It's been at 0.5, but you sprinkle Autry in there and we don't know what he's going to look like. I think the D-line is going to be fine. And I think that's really the ticket to everything that we're talking about right now. There's a lot of ways to mask uncertainty and concerns with the linebackers and the cornerback situation, and it starts up front. I know you've heard a lot of football hardos say that. I think there's an opportunity for the D-line. I feel really, really good about the D-line. A lot of Neville Hewitt fans in the chat. Big fan on him. Chris Howard asked, any news on Christian Harris? D'Amico did not want to answer that question when I asked him. He said, I ask about it every week. He was just messing around, but yeah. The news is I don't think he's going to practice. I also think if D'Amico, look, I'm trying to help Christian Harris. I think D'Amico needs to tell me before anyone else. I think he needs to call me into his office whenever he's going to be back. And then I can be cool and be like, according to sources, and I want to be the first one. I won't say according to sources if I'm not the first one. He said he would let me know. No. Let's go check the tape. Let's go check the tape. He did not say he would let us know. He said he would let me know. Let's go look at the replay. Let's go under the replay. The previous comment is under review. Let's pull this up. Let's see what D'Amico said. Let's see if Sosa's going to win this challenge. I've thrown the red flag on the field. Let's see these shorts. Look at Stu's doing this thing for the Bet US. All right, we got it. Which one was this? All right, here we go. Yeah.
Had over 10 sacks last year, so I'm expecting him to just pick up where he left off, just come in being disruptive, playing the way he plays. He plays hard, he plays relentless, and he fits right in with our group.
He practiced this week.
Of course.
He's good to go. Christian Harris, too. Is he back?
Here we go.
You can ask him about Christian every week. I'll let you know when Christian is back.
But no practice this week for him?
I'll let you know. Yeah, over 10.
I'll let you know. Nah, he didn't say us. He said me. So I think if D'Amico's a man of his word, he has to tell me. Right? Is that not fair? I love D'Amico, but is that not fair? And I don't want to be a newsbreaker. When it comes to these newsbreakers, I always quote Jonathan Moxon, and I say, I don't want your life. I don't give a rat's ass about news. But I think it's only fair because I've been all over this Christian Harris thing. I've said it's not coming back 4 weeks. I've given the opportunity to dismiss it. D'Amico said me. He's got to tell me. I think he's got to tell me. I think it's only fair. D'Amico, it's only fair, my friend. I don't think he's mad. I think he's just. I think D'Amico. He's not mad. He likes to F around a little bit more than you would think. There's a lot of times where he doesn't get asked these types of questions. Like for me, like if I were just like if it were like an old school radio or D'Amico around the stream yesterday, like here would be my questions to D'Amico Ryans. How does Nico Autry fit in? What's the news on Christian Harris? Talk about the impact that Joe Mixon has. I asked. I think I actually asked all three of those questions. Kamari Lassiter, how long is Kamari Lassiter out? And I get why coaches don't want to talk about injuries. Are you concerned about the linebackers, the depth, all that type of stuff? Not like, what do you think about this awesome performance? That's just me, though. I mean, that's what I want to know. But, yeah, you got to ask it. I'm not trying to be buddies with D'Amico. D'Amico's not trying to be buddies with me. I'm doing what I do. He's doing what he does. But he's trying to protect Christian Harris. I just think dismissing it. Now, we talked about this a little bit yesterday. I think dismissing it on Monday is actually more of a favor to Christian Harris than having people in the chat say, what's up with him? Does he have a hernia? Does he have a pulled hamstring? I heard it was a hangnail. Just dismiss it on Monday and it's over. I think that's fair. No big deal at all. Shout out to D'Amico, though. But, yeah, he's not. I don't think he's mad. He'll get mad at me. I mean, there'll be times where he'll probably get mad at me. But that's not my goal, and that's not his goal. And he's a player's coach, and we all love D'Amico around here. I asked you to ask him, is Autry going to be an impact? He loves Danico Autry. Nick Caserio loves Danico Autry. They all love him. No doubt. Devin White would be a great addition. I was a Buccaneers fan when I boycotted the Texans, okay? Why do you think Devin White can play would be my question. What did he punch Nick Sirianni or something? Because it seems like he might be washed. He might be cooked. And I think this is a very specific defense when it comes to role guys. I think there's, especially on the D line and especially at linebacker, I think there's a certain type of guy they like. I don't know that Devin White's that guy. Like they like their linebackers to be able to run. They like sideline to sideline. They like them to do a lot of stuff. I don't know about Devin White. Like sometimes, man, like sometimes I know people who have couches in their house that were set on the curb. You ever drive through like a neighborhood and there's like a couch on the curb? Like maybe college days, maybe these days. I ain't judging you. Hell, my dad has a man cave garage out there in Galveston. I think he got his couch from like the curb. Someone was throwing it out. Hey, it's going in the garage anyway. That's basically what Devin White is. Like they threw him out. But more times than not, there's bed bugs. It's ripped. There's probably like who knows how many times what's happened on that couch. Sometimes you'll find a gem, but sometimes it's on the curb for a reason. That he got released. What makes you think that Devin White can play? You're going to eventually get Christian Harris back, we think. Might not be in October. Who the hell knows when that is? D'Amico's going to tell me. Nobody else. You got some guys that you like in Hewitt and Hanson. Alshire, Henry Toto, no long-term. What are you bringing Devin White in for? Where's he fit in? So this guy's an accomplished ball player. And I'm asking the question. I'm not being a smartass. Although I am kind of a smartass sometimes. I always say it's better to be a smartass than dumbass. I'm not saying you're dumbass. But I'm just saying, like, where does he fit? So where does Devin White fit here? And it's not like you lost anyone long term. Now, Christian Harris has been out long term, but he's going to be back. But let's say that this linebacking core gets healthy, and heading into, let's say, the Lions game, or let's say December. Let's say December, you're looking at the Dolphins, the Ravens, the Chiefs, and maybe, just maybe, you're looking at hosting some home playoff games, maybe even home field advantage, and you have a full linebacking core. What is Devin White doing for you? What is he doing for you? Where does he fit in? That would be my question. Cat Pete. Ugh. Man, are there any cat people in the chat? How do you feel? How do you feel about cat people? Yeah, sometimes it might have been a little bit of an undersell. Yeah, the Lions are scary, but they lost Hutch, man. I mean, that's a big ass loss. I mean, that's probably the defensive player of the year. Thank God that the Jags didn't draft Hutchinson and they went with Al Nunn Smith instead, Travon Walker. That's what I call Al Nunn. They were trying to find the next Al Din Smith. It's Al Nunn Smith. Nothing. He's got nothing. Al Nunn Smith, Travon Walker. Because if the Jags would have drafted Hutchinson, that would have masked a lot of problems. Instead, they went with Al Nunn Smith. Someone says they have 6 kittens they're taking care of. Good God. That different strokes for different folks is all I'll say. Man. Hey, I'm not judging you. I'm just saying 6 is a lot. I don't think there's anything I want 6 of except beers. I would rather gut it out with the linebackers, but it's an ongoing issue at third corner. If they can trade for a guy, they can play some inside and out. It solves a lot. Okudah's coming back, man. Like I don't know. I don't know how else to tell you. Like it's kind of been under the radar. It's probably going to smack you when it happens. I don't think it's as far off as many think. Okudah's going to be back. Now, how good is Okudah? I don't know. This is his 3rd team in, I don't know, 4 or 5 years, whatever it was. I'll tell you this. He was clearly their 3rd best corner in camp. That wasn't even close. He's physical as hell, too. I was surprised at how physical he is. He has a lot of talent. He seems to get along with the guys very, very nicely. He's in the popular section of the locker room, not this locker room. All of you are in the popular section here, but of the Texans locker room. Okudah's going to be back pretty soon. I don't think it's going to be that long. Few weeks tops, couple weeks, maybe. He's closer than they're getting. Than they're letting out. I think Okudah will be back. Derek says Okudah doesn't like football. That sucks. I think he can still, if you need him to be the 3rd corner, that's cool. That's pretty harsh, but you might be right. Who knows? So I want to end on this. And I appreciate everyone for coming through as always. SNL tomorrow at 9:00. Be sure to subscribe to my channel. We simulcast it every day, myself and Cody Stutz, which has been great. Monday through Friday. Be sure to subscribe to this channel, right along. But let's look at the AFC South. We don't really talk a lot about the AFC South this year. And look, it's not a threat. The AFC South at the moment is not a threat. And you have a situation where I'm trying to attribute this, and y'all are going to love this. I can promise this is going to be worth it. But I don't want to play someone's clip and not attribute it. So, okay. So it appears that the Colts are kind of surviving. They're going to be a little bit of a nuisance. And if they're able to beat the Texans in a couple of 2 Sundays from now, then maybe things get interesting with them and they kind of get a little bit of life. Who knows? I think they got a hell of a coach. And I think Joe Flacco is one of those crazy ass dudes that'll probably be playing football till he's 90. Also, they've been pretty banged up. The fact that they're 500, I think, is impressive. Jags are a joke. They're a disgrace. They suck. I don't know that Doug Peterson makes it out of London. I don't know that they even beat the Patriots this week. What is the line on that? Let's check out the line at BetUS with the Jags. Are they even favored to beat the Patriots? They got to be, right? Let's just guess. What do you think the line's going to be? 3? They're favored by 5.5 to beat the Patriots. I would probably take the 5.5, honestly. I would take the 5.5 with the Patriots. I'm going to do that. Actually, I'm going to do that right now. That's at 8:30 a.m. Yeah, let's get that. How confident are we in that? Not overly confident, right? Like 5.5 is not a ton. It's not a ton. Let's just put like 40 on it. All right, there we go. BetUS 40. Have it at 6. Not 5.5. All right, we'll take the 5.5. Place bet 40. Boom. So there you go. But the Jags aren't a threat. Titans, hell of a defense. What a crappy quarterback and what a dumb signing that Calvin Ridley one was. Who would have thought it? A guy who is dumb enough to do parlays of his own team when he's on a leave for, quote, mental health is a knucklehead once you pay him. Who could have seen that coming with Calvin Ridley, man? That's crazy. No way. You're telling me that a guy who claimed that he just needed some time to himself during an NFL season and wanted to step away from the game, but while he stepped away from the game, decided he was going to bet under his own name, under a betting account, might have been BetUS for all we know, and got caught gambling and banned for a year. You're telling me that guy, once you overpay him, is going to complain, not give max effort, not be a team guy? No way. Boy, that's a shocker right there. Who saw that coming with Calvin Ridley? That's crazy. I mean, come on. Like, give me a damn break. And you had people trying to defend Calvin Ridley. All he did was gamble on the game. And, this guy, he got a D-dub and this guy got an assault charge and this guy. Dude, he was on a leave from football and was betting under his own name parlays. He should have been kicked out of the league more than anybody. That is one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. So you have to step away from football, but you're betting on it and you're doing so under your own name. I remember when I went to Las Vegas, I was in the lobby and I'm going back. Can't wait. It was actually in Caesars. It was in Caesars Palace. Got to stay in Caesars Palace this time, man. Not my favorite. I actually like the lower level ones. I like the Link, Planet Hollywood, all that, but whatever. Caesars, I'll walk across. We'll figure it out. It's going to be after the Jets game. I'm going to enjoy the weekend there. But I remember I was with an NBA player. I won't snitch. But he was with his boys, and he was like, man, what do you like today? Blah, blah, blah. Like, we started talking, started chatting. We walked from the Caesars lobby to the sports book, and I was saying, man, I like this game, this game, this game, this game, blah, blah. He's like, oh man, I like this. I was like, man, you sure they're quarterback, blah, blah. So we're talking, and then we get up there, and I'm like, dude, you ain't walking up there, right? He's like, nah, hell no. My boys do it. Yeah, it's probably smart. Calvin Ridley bet on his own account while he was on leave. It's idiotic, man. Idiotic. But I say all that to say this. I've had some guys on from the Titans Coliseum podcast. And I think they're nice dudes, country folk. I like Morocco T. I like his hype videos, even though it's the Titans and the old Oilers. I like these dudes, these country guys. I like all three of them. They seem like nice enough dudes. But it's gotten to a point where it's just kind of trollish, and it's gotten to where CJ Stroud's Dak Prescott, and it's just a lot of like it seems a little bit over the top. So I saw this take from my man RJ. Shout out to RJ. And I really want to understand what in the hell is going on here. And I want y'all to help me out here. This is the state of the Titans fan base, because I always try to follow along. And shout out to the Titans Coliseum podcast. This is my man RJ. The title is Nashville ready for Shedeur Sanders? And I kind of felt like I might have an idea of where this is going, but I'll let you listen to it and y'all tell me what the theme of this is from my man RJ.
Good morning, everybody, man. Early morning Titans talk. It's kind of cold outside, man. I got my hoodie on, just that and the other. But just doing some late night thoughts, man. And one thing that I kind of pointed out is that we did on the show last night is the city of Nashville ready for Shedeur Sanders? Or, I mean, just any type of quarterback that influences Black culture, you know what I'm saying?
What did Steve McNair not exist? I'm just asking. Like, did Steve McNair? Wasn't he from? I thought Steve McNair was throwing up fraternity signs, all that. He's a god there. But let's say that one more time for me. I mean, maybe I just know a little too much Titans.
It's kind of cold outside, man. I got my hoodie on, just that and the other. But just doing some late night thoughts, man. And one thing that I kind of pointed out is that we did on the show last night is the city of Nashville ready for Shedeur Sanders? Or, I mean, just any type of quarterback that influences Black culture, you know what I'm saying, in general. When I say Shedeur, if you watch Colorado play, man, and you see the culture that Colorado has, that could come here. You know what I'm saying? That that's a culture that Dion built. And I like the culture, you know what I'm saying? I can accept it. Obviously, I'm an African American myself. But the city of Nashville, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if they're ready. I mean, this is a country music town. You get me? It needs to be. It's called the Music City, but it's really dominated by country music. If you don't know, if you haven't been
dominated by country music, dude. Steve McNair went to a historically Black college. He was very proud of it, and he's like a god there. So I'm still trying to get confused. Maybe we get to it. I'll go back to RJ.
And I feel like drafting a guy like Shedeur Sanders is somebody that this city needs, man. You know what I'm saying? Now, I know my co-host Firestone said, man, we had Jelly Roll at the game, man. That was good. Yeah, but yeah, Jelly Roll, he started off rapping, but come on now, he's a country music singer, man. Like, he's not really just a rapper, you know. So at this point, man, I got to thinking I think Shedeur is a great player, man. I think he will, he would be a great fit in our offense, man. But man, if we were to draft somebody like him, man, the city itself he had a city turn, man. And it's already a turn city if you haven't been here to just, vacation there and the other. I know it's getting kind of cold, so I wouldn't want to come down here now. But
like someone's bringing this up. Here's the other thing. Like Steve McNair, not only did he come from a historically black college, like he would throw up. He would throw up the I think it's the Omega sign. I've been to some Omega parties though. Enjoy it. He would throw up the Omega sign. So he said, "Are they ready for a like? Are the Titans fans ready for a quarterback that influences black culture?" Steve McNair came from a historically black college. He threw up the Omega sign. Vince Young was a god in Tennessee before stuff went down. Before stuff kind of fell apart. Like you ask Vince Young, ask Vince Young. And Vince Young was the man. Vince Young was like, before stuff went tumbling down, he was beloved there. Beloved. Maybe we'll get some
in
more.
the summertime, man, Nashville is probably one of the most lit cities in America, man. And a guy like Shedeur Sanders, man, he come here and he changed some things. Like it would change for probably the better. And I just know with this with our owner, man, I could just tell by how the team is being ran right now. She is thinking the new stadium, man. She wants to find a franchise guy to put around to build the new stadium around to pretty much have a face. And I think Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward could be the face of that stadium.
The face of the stadium.
If we got Shedeur, man, he's most definitely the face of that stadium. You know, because everybody's coming to see Shedeur play.
The stadium.
From all over the world. There's gonna be NBA basketball players there. They're gonna be you know what I'm saying?
NBA basketball players are showing up to watch Shedeur? Maybe.
It's going to be former NFL players there, you know, from the Michael Irvins, you know what I'm saying? Them types. And everybody's going to come out to Nashville. We're going to finally get the publicity that we want if we drive to Shedeur Sanders. I do believe that we're probably only going to win like 3 games this year, probably about 3 or 4 games. But to say, especially we keep Levis at quarterback. We keep him at quarterback, it's going to be 3 or 4 games. But yeah, Shedeur Sanders, man, he most definitely, yeah, he will put the asses in seats, man, and that's really what I think we want.
You want asses in seats, or do you want to win games? Like that was a confusing one for me, man. I'll be honest with you, and I like those guys. I like to check in on the state of mind. They've kind of become like the fans I look at. I don't know what the hell was going on with that, but I also know what it's like covering a crappy football team. So there's that. But yeah, I to answer his question, you know, I'm not in Nashville. I've talked to Vince a couple times, and he loves Tennessee. He likes what they got going on there. Steve McNair is a god there. So yeah, I think Nashville's ready. He kind of went away from that, and then all of a sudden it was about putting butts in seats, and that's what we want and stuff. So I don't know what the hell that was. That just seemed like kind of a I don't know, like just a selfie video type of vibe. I don't know what that was. No idea. And I don't know that Shedeur Sanders, like face of the stadium, was there too. I have no idea. Weird. Who knows? Appreciate y'all for coming through. And appreciate everyone for joining along. I'm reading some of the comments. Y'all are crazy on this Titans stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I was just checking in on it. But it's tough out there. Subscribe, like, right along. SNL at 9 a.m. We got a lot to get to. And we got a lot to get to at practice tomorrow. I'll be out there as usual. D'Amico speaks. Locker room going to be open. Hopefully we get to talk to Danico Autry. That's really who I want to speak with. So we'll hopefully get to speak with him about this ball game. And then we'll see where else, what other content we can get. Basic bitch practice report, which is kind of like a selfie there, but I feel like I actually have some sort of direction as opposed to my man there. But yeah, subscribe, like, right along. Always remember, when it comes to this Texan stuff, we're all in it together. Thank y'all so much for joining me on the night show. Fun times ahead in Green Bay. And shout out to BetUS for sponsoring this video. Always remember, when it comes to this Texan stuff, we're all in it together. Thank you.
If we got takeaways, if it's up, then it's up. We number one. You don't need to try your luck. Locker room, yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk, yeah, you know what we about to